Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the August 14th action meeting, and I understand we will be starting with a video this evening.
Can you believe it? Just 12 days until the first day of school, and we are racing towards that starting bell. First up, our kindergarten readiness camp is wrapping up this week. Our tiniest knights have been learning, playing, and getting ready for the big leagues. And by big leagues, we mean kindergarten. Transportation had its annual K-Day. That's the day our new kindergarten riders get a hands-on lesson in bus safety and their very first spin on a big yellow bus. Chromebooks? Delivered! Every kindergarten and new student now has access to the tech they need to log in and learn from day one. Now, over at the high school, it's construction, cleanup, and a whole lot of coordination. Temporary classrooms are getting last-minute touches, and our facilities dream team is right behind the crews, making sure everything is polished and ready to go. Schedules drop August 20th. That's less than a dozen days away. So double-check that your Infinite Campus login is working now. Trust us, you don't want to be locked out on schedule release day. Classrooms? Sparkling. Bus routes? Done. Schedules? Just about ready. For every time, date, and back-to-school checklist item, head to npen.org. It's your one-stop shop for starting the North Penn school year strong. And as always, check out youtube.com/NPTV and download the WNPV app for updates, great music on 98.5 FM, 1440 AM.
Welcome to our regularly scheduled action meeting. This meeting is being videotaped for community cable channels and streamed live. Individuals attending this meeting and intending to speak to the board should be aware that they are being videotaped. In order to meet the requirements of Pennsylvania Sunshine Law, it is necessary to record the names of all citizens who speak to the board during the meeting. To assure compliance with this requirement, it is essential that those planning to address the board state their name and municipality. Members of the audience will limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. And now, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending the August action meeting. Just for those in the audience, and if anyone is listening online, I don't know if we're streamed on the radio. We're having some issues with YouTube right now. The meeting is being recorded. The meeting will be posted at the conclusion of the meeting. Bob Gilmer is on vacation. Joanna Chavez is on vacation. And they're having a hard time with the stream right now. So it's being taped. It will be posted as soon as we're done, if we don't figure it out before then. So.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bauer. So we'll start with our audience of citizens. Would anyone like to make public comment this evening? Good evening.
Good evening, Jace Lanier. I've come up here and kind of hammered about the same thing for the last couple meetings, which is our drop in proficiency versus our school from 2015. So 2015 versus 2024. And I would say 25, except the numbers aren't in for it yet. So 2015, the overall student average proficiency was 92.5% on the keystones for algebra. For biology, it was 91%, and for literature, it was 90%. Now, the historically underperforming kids at that time in 2015 was at 78%. Historically underperforming for biology was at 76%, well, almost 77%. And for literature, it was 76%. Those kids, historically underperforming in 2015, are doing better than our graduates of any demographic in 2024. I don't know if you guys find that alarming, but whatever it is that whatever policy we're doing, whatever we're deciding to make things better for historically underperforming kids isn't working. It's exactly demonstrably bad. All of demographics in 2024 are below that, except for one, and that's Asian kids in only some of those fields. how is this justified? Why pass policy which is causing this to happen? Is it more important to pass a policy because you guys have a political affiliation? Or is it more important to do things that will help kids be successful? Why are we doing what we're doing if it shows such, it yields such poor results? And why, and this dovetails with this expenditure that we're doing on the high school and all the other buildings. The high school, we have $260 million for renovation of that building. And for the rest of the district, we have another $375 million planned to spend. And that's over 10 years. So do the math, that's $37 million a year. Where are we getting this money? I know we're gonna borrow money and we're gonna take the high school project out 25 years to pay for it. But what about the other $37 million? Do we have that in savings somewhere? Because I couldn't find that. So how are we paying for this? And why would any taxpayer want to pay more for such poor results? Who's gonna take responsibility for these poor results? And what is your plan to change this? Don't talk to me about the electron microscope or the solar cells, like those make a difference to the 99% of the kids. What are you gonna do to increase proficiency right now for the kids that are in high school now and for all the kids following up behind them? And I'd actually like an answer on that. If you could muster one, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Would anyone else, excuse me, would anyone else like to make public comment this evening? Good evening.
Good evening. Yanni Lambros, Lansdale. So about like all of the money being spent on the high school renovation, one thing I do want to bring up, and it's something that I know you guys have heard many times over the years through every type of meeting and issue. One thing that holds true is we need air conditioning in the middle schools. And again, it's, you know, a lot of people have been requesting that for years. A lot of teachers, a lot of students. It's not always safe for certain people in certain age brackets or children who have certain medical conditions. And still, year after year, nothing's really done. But year after year, the taxes get raised. Year after year, you spend a bunch of money on something else. Everybody giggles, moves on, and, you know, we all look good, it sounds good, that's nice, but again, just like last meeting, how I brought up the whole thing with that little module building versus the outside of Penndale being not power washed, not painted, maintained, and again, not caulk, it's stucco, but that can be repaired. There's just a lot of things that it seems like, I don't know, leadership may have a lack in common sense, because things that aren't as big of a deal to people seem to be getting done, and then things that need to be done are not being taken care of, they're being neglected. So maybe you could talk amongst yourselves, do what you got to do. That's just one of the many reasons that I'm running for school board, is to bring common sense back. Let's do the right things. Let's maintain what we have, and then we can grow from there. But if you just want to keep building and neglecting, you're never really going to make a come up that way. It's just, you're going to have more problems along the way. So, thank you.
Would anyone else like to make public comment this evening? Okay. I'd like, Dr. Bauer will make comments too, regarding the air conditioning in the middle schools. I'll say we don't giggle about it. There's been a lot of analysis done to determine whether or not it's feasible. When the initial renovations happened with the middle school, and I don't know which one it was decided to remove the air conditioning in the building. In order to put new air conditioning into any of the middle schools now would require a major investment. It's not simply put AC in the school. The entire electrical system would have to be upgraded. There would be walls, drywall that would have to be changed, analysis of the roof structure, determine whether or not that the units could be placed there. All new HVAC, all new conduit. I mean, it is not something that we don't think about, but in the scheme of things, you can't feasibly do it with any reasonable payback. So to think that we giggle about it and we don't look at it with a common sense, responsible approach, I would say is kind of insulting to us.
But what do you mean about payback, like reasonable payback?
So regarding, Mr. Lambros, please, public comments over. Regarding the Keystone results, Mr. Lanier, I'd be happy to fact check a little bit with you. I do think you have to be careful when you look at Keystone results because what is reported for a year is the 11th grade class proficiency. When you get testing results back, we have kids from 6th grade all the way to 11th grade taking a Keystone exam. So for example, algebra, we actually have 6th graders who take that, 7th graders, 8th graders, 9th graders. But what is reported on some sites would be your juniors, because that was when, back in 2015, you had to be proficient on these tests in order to graduate. Since then, there's been passed legislation that allows for alternate pathways. So a student, it used to be a requirement that you had to pass the algebra Keystone, the biology Keystone, and the literature Keystone. That's no longer the case. So we would have students take the test year after year after year because they had to pass it in order to graduate. Now there are other pathways. You can take a dual enrollment class, you can take an AP exam, you can take get a certification at the Technical Career Center. There are other ways that you can obtain proficiency in order to graduate. So some students take it once now and never take it again because they don't need to, whereas in 2015 and 16 and 17, they did. That said, I still don't have the proficiency rates that you're citing for a given year, but I'll be happy. I have these spreadsheets up, and you and I have talked about them before. I'd be happy to look at those numbers with you. So not saying that everything you said is inaccurate, just I think you have to be careful when you look at proficiency rates for a given year, because the reported number is typically 11th graders, and they may have taken the test 5 years ago when they were in 6th grade, and then they're considered proficient when they're a junior, but maybe a 9th grader didn't pass. So it's not, for example, I have up, stand by, Pembroke this year, these numbers are not released yet, but at Pembroke, 52 students took the Keystone exam in 7th grade in algebra, for example. 100% of them passed it. Every single one of them passed it. 8th graders, 56 8th graders at Pembroke took the Keystone. 89% of them passed it. So numbers like 52%, that's not accurate. It just, you have to kind of talk about what number you're speaking to. So anyway, that's it. I'll be happy to follow up with Mr. Lanier. But
Okay, thank you. All righty, so moving on in the agenda, could I please have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for our July 17th action meeting and our August 5th work session?
So moved.
Second.
Second, so we have Dr. G and Mrs. Stoll. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
There are no opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
President McMurtry, if I may, I just got word that the stream is now working. So we're good on YouTube.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so we'll move to our committee reports.
Jump down to North Mark.
What about personnel? No, okay. All right, so we'll start with Mr. Resch for the Technical Career Center, please.
The Technical Career Center will meet Monday at 7 p.m. At the Technical Career Center for a meeting. We didn't have a meeting last month.
Thank you, Mr. Resch. And then we'll move to the MCIU report and the North Penn Education Foundation with Mrs. Ramich. Thank you.
Great. The MCIU board also did not meet, so I'll move on to the North Penn Educational Foundation. The foundation did not meet in July, but its Build a Bag campaign was once again very successful, with thousands of dollars in school supplies being donated. Backpacks are being stuffed and delivered to schools on August 19th. Any student in need should contact their school and a backpack will be provided. Thank you to everyone who contributed to this year's success. To learn more about the foundation, please visit npenfoundation.org or contact Christine Lebrowski at the ESC. And I just want to give a thank you to all of our community members who have contributed school supplies. I was able to see the start of the setup for the August 19th volunteer event. And it is just really heartwarming to see the level of support that this effort has and how excited we all are to make sure that every student has access to school supplies to start the year.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ramage. Mr. McBain, the legislative report.
Thank you very much. Just a quick update on the Pennsylvania budget actions in Harrisburg. The Pennsylvania Senate passed their own version of a budget, which was very different from the House version of the budget that was passed previously this month. Main topics include public transportation and education. Both of the houses are adjourned until September, so we'll have to wait and see what happens again. And I did want to check with Mrs. Hauser. There are a number of school districts in our state that, without state funding, as the school year approaches, are having to take some financial steps to ensure that they're ready to go. I just want to make sure that North Penn is in good shape and just reassure the community. I think you're probably best to do that instead of me, though.
Yeah, so we, our cash position is solid for the next 2 months. And I think, and I say 2 months because they're predicting that we should have a budget by the end of September, end of October. So we have a very strong cash position. As you know, this is the time of year that all of the tax revenue starts to flow in. August, you get a lot of the mortgage companies that are paying on behalf of their clients. So September, we'll get some more funding. So I don't anticipate us having any cash flow issues with the project or with normal expenses. If things progress and we drag into November or December, we'll have to reevaluate and see if we need to take a temporary, get some temporary assistance to backfill the basic ed subsidy and the special ed subsidy that won't be flowing from the state.
Right, thank you. There's so many districts that are already in poorer shape than us that have, through a number of reasons, have had to take some pretty drastic steps already. So I just wanted to make sure that we're in a good financial state, and thank you again for helping to lead the way.
Thank you, Mr. McBain. Dr. Bauer, superintendent's report, please.
We have a solicitor's report
Oh,
from Mr. Christopher.
oops.
Thank you. The board met in executive session immediately prior to tonight's meeting for the purpose of discussing a matter involving the evaluation process for 2 administrative employees and the separation agreement on this evening's agenda. That's the end of the solicitor's report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Next, I recommend the items listed on the consent agenda, namely contracts, gifts to the district, alternative placements, and student agreements.
May I please have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Stoll and Mr. McBain. Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Next, I recommend the approval of the personnel items as per the attached. You will notice the list is quite lengthy. A special shout out to the HR department for all they've done to position us well to start the school year.
Okay, may I please have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
All
Second.
right. All right, so Mrs. Stoll and Mr. Resch, any comments or questions?
Just a quick comment that I believe next week, all of our new teachers will arrive. How many total did we hire
Oh, boy.
this year?
Mike.
I'm sorry, it's at least 30, if not more.
At least 30.
But we're not all sure that they will have all their documents to be able to come to the new teacher orientation, but many are coming.
Well, a hearty welcome to our illustrious profession. As an educator, it's always nice to be able to welcome new teachers, and as a North Penn Knight, I am excited to be able to welcome them to our community. So just excited to have them, and thank you for all of your work and everyone's work in getting new teachers hired. So exciting time for them and for our families.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All righty, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
There are no opposed. Motion passes. Thank you.
Next, I recommend approval of the separation agreement and release of claims between the district, Robert D. Moyer, and the North Penn Education Association, a copy of which is on file in the Office of the Director of Human Resources.
May I please have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Stoll. Mrs. Stoll and Mr. McBain, any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
I recommend approval of the 25-26 winter athletics supplies bid to each vendor for the amount awarded as per the bid tabulation summary, totaling $7,170.73.
May I please have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Stoll and Mrs. Ramich, any comment? Oh, it was,
Mrs.
couldn't-
Rudnick.
pardon me,
Yep.
pardon me, I didn't hear. Alrighty, so Mrs. Rudnick, and any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
There are no opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
I recommend the current agreement for school nutrition services, chemicals, and minor repairs and services is ending. I seek permission to move forward with a bid for these chemicals, minor repairs, and services.
Okay, may I have a motion, please? Mr. Rush, is there a second? Who is this? Dr. G. All right, any comments or questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, next, as part of the School Nutrition Services Department program, a list of equipment that needs to be replaced annually was developed. We're seeking permission to move forward with a bid for the replacement equipment for 25-26.
May I please have a motion?
So moved.
Mrs. Stoll, is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mrs. Ramich, any comments or questions?
Just a quick question, Dr. Bauer.
Yes.
This will come from the school nutrition services, so from the enterprise fund?
That is correct,
Okay.
yes. The enterprise fund, which is well documented, is very healthy. So they are looking to replace some of the equipment, and that's a way to try to spend down their fund balance.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. G.
Yeah, I have to add too that what has happened there is amazing in terms of efficiencies and in terms of reduction of waste, garbage, all of those pieces. So it's a hugely successful model, business model. And this program now can go forward because the funding that potentially was not coming to us may have put the brakes on this. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. All right. Any other comments or questions? All righty, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
There are no opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, next, I recommend approval of issuing the notice of intent to award notification to the contractors listed below and attached for the amounts stated for bid package 2 of the North Penn High School construction and renovation project. President McMurtry, I am asking for a motion and a second, at which time we will have a presentation.
All right, may I please have a motion for intent to award?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Stoll and Mrs. Ramich, and
So with that, I would like
Mr.
to
Lynch.
introduce Mr. Lynch from CHA. He's going to give a brief presentation about the bid process. We had our bid opening last week, and kind of a presentation on the tabulation of those bids. Good evening, Mr. Lynch.
Good evening, everyone.
good evening.
Our presentation is up, and as Dr. Bauer advised, bids were received on bid package 2, which is really the second phase of the high school renovation project last week. And this evening we'll discuss the tabulation and the award of contracts. So we've got a brief presentation that walks you through all of the facts and figures as we did for bid package 1. The first award to consider is under the category of general construction, and the apparent low bidder is Penn Builders. You know that name because they are also the general contractor on bid package 1, currently completing work there. 3 bids were received. Penn was the lowest at just over $67 million. And after conferring with the administrative team and facilities, there are 3 deduct alternates being requested under that bid. One is to go with an alternative roof system, which really isn't an alternative roof system for the district. It's the same system that you've got on many of your buildings by Tremco. So there's a credit of $1 million there. The next is an alternate in the amount of $104,000 for vinyl base in lieu of terrazzo in all corridors throughout the building. The building will have terrazzo floors. This has to do with the base, like this blue base at the wall in this room. It goes to vinyl instead of terrazzo, so there's a savings there. The final is another credit to use painted steel guardrail, meaning handrails in the building, instead of all glass, as shown in the construction documents. So this is a good savings based on the material It's also a savings that helps from maintenance standpoint as far as cleaning glass throughout the building. So that's the first bid for general construction. I don't know if you want to stop and ask any questions along the way, but I can run right through it, whatever the board's preference is.
Well, we're going to ask questions as we go.
Great.
So the roofing, can you go back to the slide prior? So I'm not a roofer, so I'm just going to layman's terms. Can you talk to me a little bit, or talk to us a little bit about the exact change in what the roofing will be? In my experience, there's been times where you need to be careful about when you change something in what you were going to do, that change, that you're not making so much of a change that 10 years from now, we need a new roof. And I wish we would have just went with whatever the design or whatever the material was that we were using from the beginning. So I'm just wondering, I can understand the changes that of course I want to save us money as a taxpayer myself. I want to save us money, but I also want to make sure that we're getting quality and that the roof is going to last us for the amount of time the roof should last us, so that we're not replacing the roof. So can you talk a little bit about that and do layman's terms for me?
I can, thank you. So 2 roof products were selected to put in the bid, and we've talked always about making sure that there was competition in the bid, right? I have to put a number of systems in there in order to get competitive numbers. So that's the first strategy. The second, and probably the more important thing, is to provide products that the district has experience with. And this product that's being recommended is installed already in numerous locations in the district and also at the high school. Both roof products that were specified were single ply roof systems. They're both mechanically fastened. And if I go one step further, at the high school, all of the roofs have existing lightweight concrete on them. And so we have to be careful with how we do that. And we've done testing on the roof to make sure that we can indeed mechanically fasten this system or any other single ply to the roof. So it's not an alternative roof system. It's not something that the district has zero experience with. It's the same roof product that's being installed on the other areas of the building right now, and so we have great confidence in the system. It's also a 30-year warranty. All of the roof systems were 30-year warranties, so there really is very little change or difference between the 2 systems.
So now that the door is open for questions as we go, this is probably more directed for Mr. Slaughter regarding the natatorium roof that was replaced, I believe, last summer. And in terms of its composition and its warranty, not that it has to do with this project, but it is part of the high school footprint, the bricks and mortar.
So yes, this roof system that we're selecting here is the same roof system that was installed on the gym and the natatorium. The chemical makeup of the top sheet is the difference between the 2, but they hold the same warranty. This roof is also in place at Knapp and a few other locations as well. The nice thing about the manufacturer that we've selected is that their warranty is edge to edge, so they include the parapet wall flashings, the metal copings, which a lot of other manufacturers do not warranty.
Thank you, Mr. Slaughter. Thanks, Mr. Lynn.
Great. If we move on to the next contractor, it's mechanical construction. And under mechanical construction, which is HVAC, we had a number of bids under this contract. Tri-County Mechanical is the apparent low bid at just over $18.5 million. We have one alternate under this bid, and it's an add alternate. And it's an important alternate because it's mechanical equipment. And for $112,000, we can extend the warranty on all HVAC equipment another 12 months beyond the existing 12-month warranty of the contractors. So very important when we have a long duration project, and we'll be starting units early in the project, and we want them to obviously run through the remainder of renovation, especially when we have a control system being installed in the building that controls all of the units. So we feel it's a value add to add this alternate to the mechanical bid. Tri-County is another responsible contractor who has done a number of jobs of size in this area. They're a local contractor, and so we feel very confident. And as you can see, they certainly wanted the project. And on the mechanical side, hats off to the design team, very tight bids on what is $20 million of work. So very successful here.
So can I ask a question? Yeah. Okay, so staying with the increase in the 1 year to 2 year warranty for installed work, which makes sense, is there something in the language that because it is a phased-in project, very complicated, so are there any systems, pieces of equipment that will actually be worked harder or longer after their warranty wears out or their warranty expires? You know, I'm just thinking of like HVAC systems or plumbing or something like that. As you layer on and bring more on, will you see I'm tripping through this, but will the systems be able to experience their full operating capacity within the time frame of the warranty? Or is there a potential that we're going to be at risk after?
The short answer to your question, Ms. McMurtry, is yes. They will be fine. The way that this building works from an HVAC standpoint is really the same way that it works from a pod standpoint. Each pod has its own little central plant. So when we, for instance, put a pod on under a renovation, that plant is not powering the rest of the building. It's only powering a pod. So every time we put a central plant on, it takes care of the renovated area that we're in. So with respect to your question about working pieces of equipment more, no, they'll be put online and working exactly what they're supposed to for the duration of their life, really. I'm not asking for a new system to take care of 3 pods at once.
Okay, in that model, how does that improve our redundancy, resiliency, should something fail in one pod?
Very good question as well. So as far as redundancy, you have it both from an electrical standpoint and an HVAC standpoint, because the electrical system is done the same way, where each pod is powered. So if an HVAC system goes down in a pod in the future, it doesn't take B, C, D, E along with it. They're individually powered. So that's where we are from a redundancy standpoint.
Maybe I can also build on Ms. McMurtry's question. In the 2-year period of the warranty, will the system have been fully challenged so that we're not challenging it in year 3? So I wasn't sure whether that was where you were going with that. Like,
absolutely.
Was it fully challenged because we're in construction? You know, we may not have all systems go.
Absolutely good question. Once again, when APOD goes on, that physical plant is on and running APOD. It's the compilation of all of the hydronic piping that runs between the pods. That's the key. And we have isolation valves that have been put into the design so we can separate the pods. You know, the short answer to your question is yes, they'll be challenged as they will be for the rest of their life. They will not be under-challenged, if you will, when they go online. And so, you know, it's great to be able to have this warranty in place as we go through construction, because it's one call to one vendor for all of this equipment. Whenever there's a problem, even during construction, after that 1 year is up, we still have another year of warranty. Next tabulation is for the electrical construction. Good number of bids received here. The apparent low is Westcott Electric at $16 million and change, and there's one alternate being suggested for this contract. It is an add alternate in the amount of $20,000, and it's the unclassified excavation alternate that we've talked about in the past. And what it means is that should the electrical contractor encounter rock when he excavates for all of the duct banks around the site, he owns the removal of that rock. And for $20,000, with all of the duct bank that we have to do to encircle the building and get out to Sumneytown Pike, that would be a bargain. And so that's why $20,000 is recommended. The last prime contract is for...
Sorry, on that one.
Yes.
It's quite a spread between 20,000 and 200,000. So what was the difference between what the Phillips brothers were? I'm just curious. In a way, it's such a significant spread that it seems odd.
Thank you. We have 3 bidders, one at $15,000, one at $25,000, and one at $20,000, and 2 other bidders at $100,000 and $200,000. So it's really their interpretation of what they see on the geotechnical report, where they think there is rock. I'd be remiss if I said that there weren't some ways that contractors think about how they put their bid together, figuring out how the award may work. That plays into this as well. What I can give you some assurance on is so far, we've done our first excavation around APOD, and we have found some of that shale rock. So I think that this, again, is a worthwhile investment.
And you know, Mrs. Rudnick, Mr. Slaughter explained this to me in preparation for this meeting, and it makes so much sense. All the burden is on the contractor. So, I mean, we'll be responsible for removing if they find a car buried, as you said to me. But the rock, it's on them. So this is a really good decision and a good ad.
Great.
So, first of all, it's so great to be on the board with engineers. So if they find, if there is $200,000 worth of rock that Westcott finds, they've underestimated, but we're only paying $20,000.
They're taking $200,000 out for $20,000. That's a great way to look at it.
Okay. I'm thinking about when I had my in-ground pool put in, and they came back to me and were like, you have too much rock. And so I want to make sure that that does not happen.
This is essentially like an insurance policy on the rock that they may find, essentially.
The last prime contract is for plumbing construction, with the low bid going to JBM Mechanical. You know that name because they are the HVAC contractor on the bid package 1 contract at a bid of just over $8 million. And there are 2 alternates recommended here, one an add and one a deduct. Here we have the same unclassified bid alternate in the amount of $10,000 for the plumbing contract. There is some external plumbing work in the building, and there's also internal below grade excavation necessary inside the building. So this, once again, is a very worthwhile investment should we encounter rock anywhere. You know, one location where we would have to hammer trench rock probably takes care of this $10,000, so it's a worthwhile investment. The second alternate is a deduct in the amount of $35,000 to employ PEX piping for all domestic water piping under 2 inches in size. This is a particular type of piping that, should the contractor be trained, is usually a credit, and JBM is well versed in the installation of PEX, and that's why we see it reflected as a credit in this bid. The last contract is for environmental construction. There was 1 bid received for environmental construction. This is asbestos abatement, to put it in another term. Plymouth Environmental is the apparent low bidder. Plymouth is a contractor that's widely recognized as being able to do contract work of this size. We had 4 other bidders at the pre-bid conference, and in chatting with them post-bid, they had bonding company issues related to being able to submit a bid. Not only for the value, but also the duration of the contract. And so, near as we can tell, that's the reason that we ended up with 1 bidder, but it's 1 bidder who hit the budget, and also someone who we've worked with time and time again on projects of this type and size. Next slide goes to bid pack 2 schedule, which is just, oh, yes, sir.
A lot of times when we only get 1 bid, we go back out and we bid it again. If we would do that, and would that hold up the project Is that why we didn't go out and rebid this a second time?
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that, and it's a very good question. One, if you go out for rebid without changing the scope, and we can't remove the amount of hazardous material in the building, there's no guarantee that A, this contractor would bid again, or B, that the number would be lower. So the only way we could do that is to somehow reduce the scope. So our suggestion, again, with a budget on abatement of $1.5 million and it coming in at $1.575 with a contractor that has a good track record, is to go ahead with that contractor.
Thank you.
So Al, in advance of this, Mr. Rush, I'm sorry, in advance of this meeting, we did discuss at length, because as a board, we don't want to accept a bid from just one bidder. And because of this is such a specialized technical area, and again, it's going to be a long duration, it made sense to move forward in this manner.
And I
You're okay
agree
with
with that.
Okay.
I just think that the public needs to understand why we're taking just one bid.
Thank you.
Because I know the board likes to get multiple bids, and the administration likes that also.
Just to be clear, when President McMurtry mentioned that we discussed it, that was with myself, Mrs. Ramich, and Mr. Slaughter in preparation for tonight's meeting. So-
Yes, so, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No.
To be transparent, oh, shucks.
That's okay.
To be transparent, in preparation for whether it's action or F&O, we review all this in advance.
All good?
This slide is simply a reminder on the Bid Pack 2 schedule, which remains intact. And Bid Pack 2, as you recall, is the renovation of A pod, the addition to A pod, and the renovation of B, C, D, and E pods. And where we stand right now is we're waiting on final approval from the township and the conservation district for that lovely NPDES permit. A pod addition would be the first out of the gate to presumably start this fall after all of those approvals are received, followed by A pod renovation, B pod renovation, C pod renovation, and the DE renovation. And you see the timelines that are listed there. The abatement contract would be concurrent with all of these contracts and run along the same time frame. So abatement's the first in when we turn over each pod to perform its work so that we can then proceed with demolition and renovation. The next slide is simply a graphic image of that with each of those pods color-coded, and we essentially move kind of clockwise around the pods here from A to B to C and then D and E. D and E is the largest pod, and we're doing half of it at a time, so we've got phasing arranged in order to do it in that fashion. The next slide is also just a reminder that in order to do all of these renovations, we needed some temporary classrooms, which I think you've seen from our updates are largely complete in the senior CAF, the library, the C Wing, also the auditorium and the Audion. Credits to the design team for their creativity and how they snuggled these classrooms in. If you've seen any of the photos, I think they're coming along quite nicely. But this is all part of the phasing plan for having enough classrooms so that the high school can maintain its programs while we do construction. Last slide is a budget update, and I promise I didn't make it small so you couldn't read it on the screen. The magic number of 260 over on the right-hand side on the grand total is holding. You may recall that we had some savings on bid package 1. This bid package, if you've run the numbers, our total estimate for this project was just about $108,500,000, and the total number is 110. So fortunately, we are well within 2% of the budget number. So adjustments have been made to recognize the savings in bid package 1. And also, we have a number of contingencies across the entire project. And so I feel confident that all of those contingencies will serve the district well as we move forward. Fortunately, at this time, we haven't really had to touch contingency on the project. Be happy to answer any other questions that you have on the results of the bidding. Want to give a great shout out and thanks to the entire team, board, administration, design team, everyone that's been a part of this. It's really been a village with everyone contributing and working very hard.
Yeah, if I may just echo what Mr. Lynch shared there, and we have some folks in the audience, Mr. Weiss from Schrader Group, Dr. Nicholson, Mr. Slaughter, yourself, Mr. Lynch. This is not something that has started to be discussed last year. This has been years in the making, and this is the biggest, most significant portion of this project. And the goal for 18, 24 months at this point was to be at this point at this time. So we have stayed on time. It has not always looked like it was going to be that way, but very pleased to see this presentation tonight and for all the efforts, in particular, of the four of you in the audience. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch. Any other comments or questions? We have a motion? Sure, please.
Yeah, real quick, just a general question, not so much to do with the bid process, but as the maps of the high school are being presented to the public, I see Dr. Nicholson in the audience here. When might parents of high school students expect to get more information about how they're going to get around the building this year?
Yeah, great question. I believe filming for an informational video is in progress and hopefully will be finalized next week, emailed out to families. This is what to expect. This is what you will see. Routing is a little different, as Mr. Lynch just shared. Let's do some quick math. 3, 4, 3, 2, 4 is 16. There are 16 new classrooms in the building that weren't there in June. And so there's a lot to learn about that. And not just inside the building, but outside the building. There are fences up. There are parking lots that are closed. So we're going to provide an informational video and a narrative as well, written narrative, explaining some of the changes. And that's going to have to be an ongoing thing because things are going to change throughout the year. Around Thanksgiving, I believe we will hopefully receive third floor of K-Pod back, and we will shut down second floor of K-Pod entirely. So things will change at that point. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Next week. Great question, Mr. McBain.
Thank you.
This isn't a question for Mr. Lynch. This isn't a question for you. Probably a question to piggyback off of Mr. McBain's question. I'm sorry. Mr. McBain's question. No changes in terms of ninth grade orientation is going to go on as it normally would. And what will back to school night look like for the high school?
Were you trying to stump me by saying ninth grade orientation, or did you mean 10th grade orientation?
I'm between two districts, people. I'm sorry.
Thank
10th
you, Dr.
grade,
G,
yes,
for that.
yes. I wanted to throw in you a loop there.
Yeah, no.
10th grade orientation, as well as back to school night.
I assume 10th grade orientation will look the same, Dr. Nicholson. So no changes to 10th grade orientation. Students will still come. That is on Tuesday morning. And there will be an open house evening for parents as well. And back to school night itself, there's no change. So just same schedule, same format, and parents will get to see for themselves. And maybe we can get an update, video update at a F&O meeting about these classrooms. And so the classrooms are beautiful. They're temporary classrooms in the auditorium, Audion, senior CAF. No, I don't want to talk about the time I pulled a fire alarm on accident. So, but yeah, so we will have a standard back to school night, standard orientation, and parents will get to see it for themselves. Another good question.
All righty, any other comments or questions? We have a motion on the floor. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 No opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, next, we did the notice of intent to award. So next, I recommend awarding of bids to the contractors listed below and attached for the amounts stated and entering into contracts for the North Penn High School construction and renovation project for bid pack 2. Funding for the project will come from the North Penn High School Construction Fund.
All right, may I please have a motion?
So moved.
All right, Mrs. Rudnick and Dr. G, any comments or questions?
As we get ready to make this vote, which is a very exciting moment because this has been such a labor of love for many of us in the room and many of us in our community, I do just want to share that we had the privilege this week of taking a tour of the building with Dr. Nicholson, Mr. Slaughter, Dr. Bauer, and some of our ENACT students. And it was really incredible to see. I think one of the things that kind of took me aback was how normal it was in a full K-Pod is fully kind of under construction, but yet even with all of that, there were still meetings of school personnel, trainings and meetings that were happening, and our fall sports, our students had gathered on campus. So it is, I almost really took my breath away as I was driving into the campus to see the parking lot was full. Our students were already present, our school personnel were there and on site, and functioning as if everything was on target. And so I think it was, for me, it was a really important thing to see, to be able to recognize that this project is well underway. It is going to be really messy, and I think the floors of the natatorium at present kind of give us a good sense of the level of mess that this will be. It will be a project that will take years to complete, but yet there will be football, there will be band, there will be all of the activities that are starting now are going to carry forward. I think it is going to require that we all sometimes wear hard hats in certain areas, and sometimes be a little mindful of changes in fencing, and a route in a hallway that you might have gone may have to look a little different now. But it's just an incredible space. And I think also getting to see those temporary classrooms, it was really pretty phenomenal to see. I've been to so many events in the senior CAF, and to see it converted into space as if those classrooms look like they've existed there. So there will be a lot for students who are used to the old style, the old building, to adjust to, but there are also so many things that have just been put in place to keep it functioning. So really excited to be voting to move this forward.
Yeah, just to build off of what Mrs. Ramage said, this is in many ways the centerpiece of our community. It's a community project, and it requires a responsible reaction by all members of our community, including our students, right, to kind of go with the flow and take those little changes to what they expect in stride. And I know our teachers are also very well prepared for that as well. It is a bit of a sacrifice for sure, but certainly as we look forward to what we're going to have as the flagship of North Penn, I think we can all look forward to enjoying it for many years to come.
Just out of curiosity, Mr. McBain, were you teaching at Upper Dublin when they went through their renovation?
Indeed, I was.
Yeah.
There was a quarter-mile walk outside from one part of the building to another during the school day at some points because of how it was constructed. But I tell you what, when you get into that new building, we're all very proud of it. The vibe changes. That's important. And the folks that went there as students have all come back and are still also very proud of seeing that construction and being the first ones to get in that new classroom, or the last ones to be in the old classroom and leave their mark. So, yeah.
Anyone else like to make comment? I have one comment brief from the board. So the board does say thank you to everyone that was part of this, and we do know that this bid package award is a really big deal, quite literally. It is our journey to deliver a 21st century education for our students. Two of the original school board members that started this are not here, but Mr. Fusco and Mr. Casa with Mrs. Stoll were integral to moving this forward. So we are extremely happy to be at this point. Everyone has echoed how complex and how multifaceted this will be. It's like putting a big puzzle together with all the phasing, but tonight's vote is possible because of all of the hard work and most of the people in this room. And I'd like to also say thank you, because it definitely was a labor of teamwork and patience and perseverance, and clearly love for the North Penn School District students. So thank you all. All righty, with that, all in favor, we have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
There are no opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, next, I recommend to seek board approval of the rejection of the Job Source Contracting Bid Award due to no contractors submitting bids.
So moved.
Mrs. Stoll, is there a second? Mr. McBain, Mr. Slaughter, could you just speak to this again, please? And your plan. Thank
Certainly.
you.
Good evening. So job order contracting is when we reach out to contractors in their prime category for hourly rates. Unfortunately, we put this out at a really bad time when everybody was really busy in what we call the summer slam of construction. So I did speak to multiple vendors that were interested in bidding this project. They said if we were to put it back out again in the September, October timeframe, that they would be willing to provide bids for this. There isn't any necessarily planned work associated with this. This is more emergency work. A lot of the bids would be for snow plowing in case we needed additional assistance in some capacity with a large snowfall or multiple snowfalls over multiple days in a row. There was also general contracting services in there, such as carpentry, labor, roofing, drywall finishing, painting, just in case our staff was overburdened or we had some type of injury or long-term illness for some of our staff, we'd be able to supplement our staff work with this kind of bidding. So since we received no bidders, we're asking that you reject it. And then the next step, we're asking that we can go back out to bid again.
So just from a procedural perspective, would this actually, after we approve rejecting it, does this come back to F&O or comes back directly here to action?
No, we would go back out to bid again. This would go, the results would go to F&O, and then it would come back to the board after that.
Okay.
Should F&O move it forward.
Okie dokie, thank you. All right, any other comments or questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. There are no opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Slaughter.
Okay, so you just rejected the no bids, so I now recommend that we seek to advertise to rebid the job source contracting bid due to no bidders submitting.
May I please have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Ramich, Mrs. Stoll, any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, motion passes. Thanks.
Okay, and last but not least, I recommend approval of the Community Education Program fee schedule for fall 25-26 in anticipation of Dr. G's annual question. There are no changes to these fees.
How'd you know that was
May I
coming?
please have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Stoll, Mrs. Ramich, any other comments or questions?
I have a question.
Oh, good.
Are there any changes to this?
Guys are funny tonight. I do believe there is a processing fee worked in there for electronic payments, and some opportunities are shorter or longer, and the fees have been adjusted, but the rate at which people are charged for these services are the exact same. So,
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hauser?
Hi. So running it, and I can't see all of my items, but I can tell you the treasurer's report. So rates have pretty much held steady as they have for the last few months. So we're doing that good on our overnight investments. The sanction and approval of invoices is standard. It's the standard reports that we issue every year, or every month rather. The financial reports, they look a little different this month. We upgraded our general ledger package during the course of the month of July. And then we use Cognos reporting, which sits on top of our ERP system. The Cognos reports, because the tables changed when they did the upgrade, they changed some of the names of the tables. Our Cognos reports have to be rewritten, but we can get the information another way, which is why they look a little different this month. So we are going to be rewriting those Cognos reports over the couple of months. It's all the same information. It just may look different than it has in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All righty.
So I would seek approval then of items A through 8A through 8C.
Okay, may I please have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Stoll, Mrs. Ramich, any comments or questions? Okey doke. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
There are no opposed, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Hauser. All righty. Is there anyone that has other business they would like to bring before this meeting? Okay. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you all. Thanks for this evening.